Hey.
Not a foul.
Morning.
Nah. What up?
So how was the film session today?
It was good. Something we needed. Able to see the lack of execution, more so on the offensive end than the defensive end, and really our lack of force. Not necessarily energy, but just not cutting as hard, not being as sharp. To create the situations that we wanted to create on the offensive end.
How much of that is that their length kind of causes that little split second of hesitation maybe?
Well, it definitely does. It's something that you have to adjust to. They're one of the more lengthy teams in the league, so it's something that you have to adjust to, just like anything else. And I think going into game 2, we'll be better with it.
How hard is it when you haven't played a team that good in such a long time?
It makes everything tougher for sure, just not seeing them for so long. And I think right now they're a completely different team, than the team that we faced in February, I think it was. So it makes a difference. But like I said, we've had our game to adjust. Now it's up to us to make the adjustments.
Steve talked about Steve.
What did you see different in them from past games?
The other guys are playing better. KD didn't play well last night to KD's standards. Russ didn't play well to Russ standards, and yet they won the game. Because the other guys are playing better, So that's, something that we got to take care of and make sure, everybody else not getting off and having really good games. And, you can't expect to hold KD to 10 for 30 every game and Russ 7 for 21, but we can do a better job on the other guys.
Steve talked about the need to play defense without fouling, which you are very good at. How much do you guys need to clean that up?
We definitely have to clean that up because that also has an effect on our offense. They're a pretty good defensive team. They have a lot of length. So if you're setting up against the half-court defense every time, it makes things a lot tougher to get into a flow. And I think that was one of our problems last night is we didn't have any rhythm to our offense. So, if you can get a few stops and get out in transition, maybe you don't necessarily score in transition, but now you got rhythm going into the offense, and now they're kind of scrambled. So that definitely makes a difference in the entire game.
Given their length that you mentioned, how effective can your small lineup be? Do you think you need to play bigger against this team than most teams?
I think our small lineup can be effective. It's been effective all year. I think it had times where it was very effective last night, so I think it can be effective. We just got to play our brand of basketball.
How much can you guys draw on not having lost back-to-back games all season at this point?
That doesn't matter at this point. Obviously, it helps, just knowing what to do to not lose back-to-back games, but it's playoffs. It's the conference finals. At this point, everybody's good. Everybody's, kind of know their roles on their teams, and if you're at this point, you're usually clicking as a team. So that really doesn't matter, but we know what we need to do coming out in order to win this game.
Were your fourth quarter shooting problems more a case of bad shots or just missed shots that you guys normally make?
I think it was a rollover from the third quarter where we went ballistic in a terrible way. We were throwing the ball all over the place. We were taking horrible shots. We were ISO, one pass shot. We weren't ourselves. So I think it was just a carryover from that.
Draymond, Steve was saying that the overall mood in here, you guys are fine. You guys have had this experience before being down. How much can that experience help you?
It definitely helps. I was telling the guys, when we look at our championship run, anytime we talk about it, we always talk about being down 2-1 to Memphis, being down 2-1, to Cleveland. We never talk about beating the Pelicans 4-0. We never talk about beating the Rockets 4-1. You talk about the trying times, So right now it's one of those times, and we've never been down 0-1, so this is foreign territory for us. But at the same time, we've been in a position where we had to battle back before. So, that experience helps, but it's a completely different year. This is a completely different team that we're playing against. So we got to come out and play with the intensity level and the focus level that we know it takes to win a high-level game of this magnitude. And we do that, we get things back rolling, and we got to go to OKC and win the game, but we got to make sure we defend our court tomorrow.
Draymond, when Russ gets going like he did in the third quarter, how do you get that back in the bottle?
I mean, if Russ is hitting pull-up threes, you kind of got to live with that. It's the getting on the foul line that you can't allow him to do. If he hitting pull-up threes, he's one of the most gifted players in the game, athletically, physically, as far as his heart and his will, But if he hitting pull-up threes, you can't defend everything, and that's what you got to give up to him. So you just can't let him get to the free throw line. I think he probably shot 8 free throws in that third quarter, and that's what you can't do.
Draymond, did you hear the comments by Steven Adams after the game about Stephen Clay, and do you have any comments?
The most difficult. I mean, Harden draws a lot of fouls, but he usually kind of does it, just kind of like lets you get into him, and then he raises up. But Russ, with his speed, he just kind of like launches himself at people.
Yeah, he does. It's a different way. Number one, he's not afraid of any contact. He's almost looking for contact. So, and he's, James, like you said, he does it a different way where he's kind of getting on you. He do it on the floor. Russ does it in the air, and that makes it a little more challenging because he's so fast and so powerful. But I don't think the plays where he got fouled at, they weren't the cause of him doing that. They was us running into him on the screen, on his back down a couple times. Most of his fouls was on the floor, so we just got to be better with the fundamentals of defense, getting our hands out of there. If we're going to body up, you got to body up with your chest. You can't really use your arms out on the perimeter. So I think if we be better with the fundamentals, we'll be better in that aspect.
What do you think of the SI cover?
It's pretty dope. I like it. I think Lee did a great job on the article. It's pretty amazing. I sit back and look at that like, wow, who would have ever thought this was going to happen? So it's pretty amazing.
Draymond, Andre said when he was defending KD down the stretch in those isolation situations, it was a team effort, and especially pointed out that you and Bogut do a lot of communicating for him. What are the things you're pointing out to him in those situations?
He's just trying to point out to him where to help at. KD's 7 feet, whether he want to admit that or not. He likes to say 6'9", he's 7 feet. And he can shoot over the top of anybody, so you got to point to him where to help at so he can try to force him to drive, because if he just get this spot and raise up, even if you're right there and you can test it, it don't really matter. It's just a matter of if he's going to miss or make the shot. If you kind of can point out to him where his help is at, and he know which way he can kind of shade a little bit, get into the ball and make him continue to drive into the help, I think that helps out a lot. So I just try to really, let him know where we are on the floor behind him. 'Cause when you're out there on that island, you can't see anything behind you. You don't know where anybody's at.
There's not much you can do when they get him into that Nowitzki in that mid post, right?
Nah, that's where you just got to press up on him. Hopefully he'll try to make him drive, but if he take tough shots, then he take tough shots. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure those shots are tough and not just uncontested.
Did you feel anything different from your teammates this morning?
Nah, same group we always are, and we'll stay that way.
You got a matchup like Robertson. Is it fun for you to play that free safety role?
I enjoy it. It's definitely fun because you get to break up a lot of stuff. I don't really think I was myself on the defensive end yesterday, so I don't think it worked to our advantage as much because I wasn't flying around like I normally do to break things up. So I got to be better on the defensive end and breaking some things up that I know I can break up and get in the spots where I know I can affect things. I don't think I did that to the best of my ability yesterday.
Did he do anything that might dissuade you guys from going down that road again?
Because if he beats us, then congratulations.
Draymond, do you think you guys would have the energy if you were asked to play small ball with you at center the way you did in the finals for that amount of minutes? Could you do that again? Would you be able to do it if called upon?
I think I can do anything I put my mind to, and if that's what I'm called upon to do to win basketball games, then that's what I'll do. I'm not sure which route we go as far as the offensive end or lineups. I'm not really sure. We haven't really spoke about, some of the matchups on the defensive end that we may switch up. So it'll be interesting to see. This is kind of one of those series where I think it's going to go more on feel. You know, it's like yesterday I came out guarding Robertson. I think that's going to change. You know, yesterday we went small. That may stay the same. Like, who knows? You know, I don't really know where we're going in this series. I think it'll be one of those series that's more predicated on feel. You know, and Coach Kerr has a great feel for the game. You know, our coach staff, they do a tremendous job in filling out, you know, what's kind of the turn that the game is taking, and they go with that. So I don't really think right now it's something where we say, oh, this is the lineup we have to go to. We're going to continue to do what's worked for us, and that's completely playing off field, which is why sometimes you see us go with the small lineup. Sometimes you see us go with the bigger lineup. It just kind of depends on the flow of the game.
Did you guys last night, as a group, just kind of clock out and head home, or was there any kind of post-game message, any group text? I mean, how did you handle?
There's no really post-game message other than, you know, I saw Steph after the game. He smiled and said, "We ain't been here before." I said, "Yeah, I know. I like this. You know, this will be fun." Because when you can bounce back from something like this, it makes it all the more sweeter, you know. So I'm relishing this opportunity. This is where you see what you really made of. You know, this is where you bounce back and, you know, everybody's against you and don't think you can do it and blase, blase. This is where it gets fun for us. So that's about it.
Thanks, Draymond. Thanks, Draymond.